check the audio and see if this is working off. Check the audio and see if this is working off. Testing. Okay, cool. So that should be better. There's like a weird robotic thing going on with the audio for a while, but hopefully I fixed it. I'm trying to download this chat application here, and then I'll start answering the questions off of Instagram. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do here is this is the first time I've done a Q&A on or this is the first time I've done a Q&A on Restream, so I might have some it's unlikely, but I might have some comments from Twitch as well along the way. So I have like a chat box here that'll show me everything. But I'm going to jump in. I did Instagram. I asked Instagram this morning I did like a questions thing, so I was going to do a Q&A and said submit your questions. So I'm going to start until anyone joins here. I'm going to start reading those, and anytime there's a dead zone between questions, I'll just go back to those. All right, so we got, what's your favorite ice cream flavor? I'm going to say vanilla cookie dough. Chocolate chip cookie dough, vanilla, whatever. Everything is like mirrored in here, so this is so weird. Okay. Why can I not sneeze? That's a great question. with no answer. No answer question. What is your adjusted penis size using Randy Marsh's formula? Really good question. Length times distance plus width divided by don't have an answer for that one. I can't do the math in my head. Too complex. I asked myself, what is the tallest building? Also don't have an answer for that one. Have you listened to Spencer's new single? That one, yes, I have indeed. Great single. Big fan. So now I'm just going to sit here and wait until... that was all the questions from Instagram, so... No, I'm just going to sit here until anyone shows up and wants to chat.
Where'd he go? Steve?
Taylor asks, what's going on? How's it going? That sucks. Does that mean you're going to abandon your law pursuits, or does that mean you have to study and take it again, Taylor? You have 5 times to take it. Okay. Retaking it in July. Nice. So does that mean that you're gonna spend the next like 2 months straight just studying? Did I really win Fear Factor? Yes. Me and my brother won it together. Um, like 2017. Really late 2017, but the episode aired in 2018, like March of 2018 or something, or maybe January. I don't know. Um, Taylor, what is the process of taking the bar? Like, is it? I'm sure you took the SAT at some point. Oh, nice. Hey, I'm glad. Um, yeah. Like, what is the process like? How many hours is it? How many questions? Is it multiple choice? Are there essays? $400. 3 days. It's a 3-day test. Does it say how close you were to passing last time? 30 points off. Nice. So you think if you you think you'll be able to get those extra 30 next time? Sounds like it would not be fun to take more than a couple times. How old is my brother? He is 23, and we went to the same college. We went to different high schools, but same college until I dropped out, and then we were in the same fraternity, and he got tagged in this, in like the Fear Factor thing, and then he just set it up. If you're, I have no idea. I'm trying to deny that I have to retake it. I feel that sucks. You said you found out yesterday. Okay. Were you surprised when you saw your results? Like, were you expecting to pass it? We went to University of Southern California, the school that was in the news a bunch recently for Olivia Jade and all the kids whose parents paid to get them in. You knew you were gonna fail. Did you not study the first time? Yeah, yeah. It's good stuff. We're very proud of our school. If I could pick the worst college to, depends on how you define study. Did you browse over some vocab? Why did I drop out? I just really didn't like it, and I thought it was a waste of time and money at that point in my life. It didn't line up with any of my goals or like career points I wanted to accomplish. So I was like, I'm out of here. And I really, yeah, it was just not right for me at the time at all. I think it's like a really bad place. USC in particular. I don't know other colleges. Um, I took some classes at Boise State and I thought that was fine, but um, I really don't like USC. One of my long term goals, I want to work in like media creation, video stuff. Live streaming kind of fits into that category. Um, it's like the only thing I really like doing. I like music and stuff too, but it's more of like a side goal. I think that primarily I'm like a media person, and the deal with schools is, and this I think applies to any school besides like maybe a really specific trade school or something for some sort of film or animation or something, but the universities and like higher learning institutions are always like 10 or 15 years generally behind on a subject, or like at least 5 years. And so what you're learning, like in the video editing classes stuff, like the film classes at USC, um, like the things that you're learning are just like so pointless compared to what you need to know in the industry today, or like what people are making. It's like doesn't even compare to what you're getting taught. It's just completely different, uh, like universes of media and content. Um, they're horrible universes. Yeah, I literally couldn't agree more. I really, really actually don't like them. And I try not to be the guy who's like fuck college, like, drop out, because like I don't really have anything to show for that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a good spokesperson for that idea at all. I'm like living partially off of like award show money or award money from a TV show, and like this project is like my main thing, and there's no telling if this is going to be like financially viable or like make a difference in the world or anything. You know what I mean? But I really don't like universities as well. I think they're really terrible, and I can't believe how brainwashed our society is that like parents are pumping their kids in there, making it the priority that it is. It's insane. It's really bad. Um, and I know that's not like the parents' fault. Like they just want, when our parents were kids, it made sense. I feel like it was totally societally different to go to college. It cost less. It got you way better job prospects. It was more lined up with the jobs that were being created and that existed, and so it made sense for them to go. But now they're confused, and that ideology has washed over into our generation, where it doesn't make sense to be sending even like 50%, maybe like 25. Like the percent of kids that should be going to college should be like less than half of what it is now. Probably like way less than that. Maybe like 15% of the kids who are going right now, or like 25, should be going. Like the rest of them should be doing something else, like getting jobs or going to trade schools or doing apprenticeships or like figuring out what they actually want to do. Like college is such a waste of time and money for so many people, and um, it's like I'm kind of hypocritical because I'm in law school, but I just went because I really didn't have a clear path, and I knew I wanted to take after undergrad. I don't think that's hypocritical at all. I mean, the thing is like if it's off your own volition and you decide that you want to go to law school or undergrad or any sort of school, like totally, if you've done the research and you know what you want and you think that lines up with your goals, then oh my goodness, like there's nothing wrong with that, not even close. But um, the fact that kids are coming out of high school, I mean, even when you're in high school, sophomore, junior year, like the path is already defined for you. You know what I mean? Like, the guidance counselors are telling you what to do. You're getting ready you're taking SATs and ACTs. You're starting to write essays and fill out Common Apps, and your parents are, depending on how involved they are in your life, they're looking into schools with you and stuff. And there's only one goal for you at that point in your life, and it's to go to college. And I think that's wrong. I think it should be a lot more personal choice. It's like the kids don't even have a chance to think about if that's what they want to do because they don't have a full understanding of what college is and what it isn't, and that there are other options. So are you currently still in law school, Taylor? Um, all girls prep? No way. I went to an all boys prep school. College prep was so intense and competitive. Where'd you go? Was it in was it a boarding school also? Because mine was boarding. Hockaday School. Check this out. That's crazy. Boarding and day school. That's so nuts. Did you were you a boarding student or a day student? I went to Blue Ridge School, which is in it's outside Charlottesville, Virginia. But my high school was a very different experience because it's almost focused more on like I would say like character and personal development and like becoming an adult and like a man than like academics. Like obviously school is important because it was a school, but it wasn't like we didn't have APs at our school. Period. Like there were none. So the focus was just different, and I really appreciated that. Um, that sounds really familiar. That would be so funny. I have not heard of the Hockaday School. I hate to let you down, but you're just a day student, okay? That's so funny. Did you play sports while you attended the Hockaday School? Of course, field hockey, soccer, track. That's awesome. I did soccer and track too. That's so funny. What was it your decision or your parents' decision to go to the Hockaday School as opposed to a public school in the area? serene. Yeah, it was epic. It was really cool. It was like 20 minutes from like a town. It was really in the mountains. Um, Super epic. Very unique school. I hated high school, or like I hated like almost all school my entire life. Like I went in and out of like homeschooling and stuff just because I really didn't like things so much. Um, but I really liked Blue Ridge School. Like the classroom aspect was still, boring sometimes. That's inescapable, but it was like way different from um, any other school, and I loved it because of that. It was like the perfect place for me to go. The biggest the biggest like negative of going to Blue Ridge School was that leaving it was like a reality shock because I hated college so much, and like I hated my college, and that was terrible, and it was like such a stark contrast. Where are you getting your car? As in, where am I? Oh, Toby, what's up? Um, as in, where am I shopping for? What the hell looks like a summer camp? I swear to God, it was like halfway summer camp and then half school. It was incredible. It's like the most incredible place. I wonder if it'll still be the same by the time I have kids, because I would strongly consider probably sending my kids there if it was. CarMax dealer. Toby, I would probably go. I'm probably gonna go Craigslist. Um, it's what I did for my last car, and I think it's like no middleman. It's cheaper, right? But I don't have a lot of experience buying cars, so if you have a recommendation. Are there any benefits to buying a car from a dealership besides it being like easier? I figured Craigslist would buy a car. You guys buy a car here? Why? Do you just rip through cars? Taylor, are you still in law school, or did you finish and now you're taking the bar? Did you take the bar, well, like in your final year or something, or is it after you? Oh my God, couldn't be more accurate. It's like the fakest place in the world. I mean, Los Angeles is like so fake. I don't know. I feel like stupid complaining about this, but it's like it is very fake, and especially after leaving and then going back and visiting, it was like unreal to me. Like it's such like a tiny bubble, and like the people there, they live like in this bubble, and they have these expectations and these thoughts about how like the way the world works, and it's like so different from my understanding of things now. Like after living life outside that bubble and like facing what I think is like different versions of reality, you know. Took in Feb, graduate in May. Okay, for sure. That's cool. So you're coming up on graduation pretty soon, Taylor. How old are you? I'm 21. We use CarMax and have we want shipped to no way. We like a change often. Have 3 cars. New every. So do you sell your old one, Toby, and then get a new one, or do you just have a big collection going? They ship you the vehicle. CarMax. Yes, Taylor. Do you like College Station? I really like it. It's my favorite place that I've lived so far, um, and I've lived in like I really like Boise, Idaho. That's a nice place. Um, and I lived in like a couple places in California, and I seriously like this better. It's like my favorite place by far. Um, Toby, who's in the chat, used to live in College Station too, and also loved it, and says that he misses it because you trade in and search the entire inventory you have. Rookie Gang. Hey, just dropping a random. Anything specific we need to ask about? Uh, that you want to ask about? You can feel free to ask anything. If you're wondering what this stream is, it's a Q&A. I'm live streaming for a year straight. That's the explanation. But feel free to ask anything. K-Bam, whose house do you live and whose lawn did you mow the other day? This is my uncle's house. He isn't here a lot of the time. He'll be here this week. And I was mowing. I mowed this lawn like 3 days ago, and did another lawn of another house that my uncle owns and rents out to college students. And then same thing with the lawn that I mowed yesterday. Really, I was going to go to Texas A&M. Texas Tech is... let me see where Texas Tech is. Lubbock. Wow, that's kind of out there. That's crazy. What was it? Where was your home while you were going to undergrad at Texas Tech, Taylor? Cool. It's on the high desert plains in the middle of cows and nowhere. That's what it looks like. Looks like it's way out there. Having spare houses. No, well, this is like, it's hard to explain. The other two, he's buying. He's like an investor now. My grandparents had a family company that my uncle spent his whole life working in. This is separate from my parents and me, but my uncle's got ownership of the business from my grandparents. They sold the business, and my uncle is like using the money from that to get into real estate. And so he bought 3 houses here, and this one he's going to live in eventually, but he's like slowly moving in, and he's going to Airbnb it kind of like in the meantime. And so I'm just like helping him get it set up and maintain it. And then the other 2 he's buying as investments, and then just to rent in the meantime to make money. Here's a conversation starter. If you had to choose between teleportation or shape-shifting, which would you pick? I think I would definitely do teleportation, because that would be epic. Shape-shifting, you have advantages. You could be a fly and, fly into a bank vault, and then actually that would be complicated, but I'd go with teleportation. I think zapping anywhere in the world would be sweet. You could go if you feel cold, just say no more. You could just teleport somewhere slightly warmer and then go back when you're done. I totally didn't even know Fear Factor was still in the air. Yeah. It's kind of a different show from how it used to be. It's no longer hosted by Joe Rogan, and it's the challenges are like toned down, and it's a little bit different. It's like one show is an entire like season's worth of what they did. So it's like 4 teams, and then there's 1 winner per show. Whereas it used to be a whole season, people would get eliminated. Yep, Toby's got it right. I just lived in an apartment with roommates in Lubbock. Okay, so you didn't have to. I was wondering if you like lived in Dallas, if that's where you went to day school, if you had to like commute, or if you had to like drive from Lubbock back to Dallas during vacation and stuff. Because I bet that's a really long ride. Nice. I have a personal question. Absolutely any questions whatsoever, Toby. Happy to answer. I checked out the rest of your videos, and you seem to live stream 24/7. That's actually pretty cool. Thank you, Rookie Gang. Precisely. I started doing that on January 1st, and I'm doing it till December 31st of this year. It's like a experiment. How do you handle sexual desires? Depends on the situation. Generally, or needs. I mean, generally, I just like, if I'm in proximity to someone who like is interested in me, then I'll just like have sex, and that's a really good way to deal with this. I want to see if I can guess your zodiac sign. But Otherwise, sometimes just ignore it or um, yeah, whatever. Well, live streaming. Yeah. So like last night would be an example. So in the if you see some things on my channel, you won't see any on this besides one, because I just started this or maybe two, but because I had to transfer over channels. But in the older channels, you'll see videos called pre-sleep streams, and it's usually like I'll set up a sleep stream, and then instead of going to sleep, I'll like do something that would be like not safe for work, whatever, and I'll just turn the camera away and like mute the mic, and then like solely because YouTube wouldn't allow that, and I get banned from the platform, and so then afterwards I just turn it back and unmute the mic. Here's another casual question. Capricorn. Taylor, I honestly don't know the answer to that. But tell me what makes you think I'm a Capricorn first, and then I can look it up and tell you if you're right or not. Here's another casual question. If you had to turn to an object for a week or longer, what would you be and why? You couldn't move or speak, but you could still see, hear, think, etc. I think I would turn into a microphone in a really uh, like high, like in one of the most prestigious recording studios, and that way, all the best singers in the world who like record there, I would get to hear them like sing to me, which would be sweet. Capricorns are really, really focused and driven. The type of people to do 24/7 live stream. Interesting. Maybe a boulder or something. Well, that's what you would do, Grookey? You'd be a boulder? Why? Why would you be a boulder? Let's see. What is my... I'm a Leo. Dramatic, outgoing, fiery, and self-assured. Nah, I wouldn't be just giving you suggestions. What would be the only thing that would make you stop the live stream as in quit? I thought about that. I really don't care about that much, or else I wouldn't have done this live stream. I know that sounds kind of like morbid, but I was at a point in my life where I was like, I had no direction and like no prospects, and I was just like so tired of like just like existence, and I was like bored with life and stuff, and I didn't want to do anything, and this was like the single idea that I'd come up with that I was like, wow, I would actually really enjoy doing that, and I think that would be significant. Everything else I was thinking just seemed so like meaninless and ridiculous and like long term not worth investing my time in doing. And so that being said, like this project was kind of from like a place of desperation, and that's why I'm so invested in it, and like why I've made no exceptions for it so far. That's why I care so much about it. I think like maybe if one of my parents died and I had to go to the funeral, I don't know. I honestly have no idea. I guess if I was in an accident and I became like paralyzed, I don't know, because the thing about it is all the situations that are bad. I set out to do the project with in mind. I want to get the highest peaks in my life, the most fun, entertaining moments, but I also want to get like there is no escaping the lows and like the bad moments and the things that I look back on and I cringe and like hate watching or thinking about. And so part of the draw of the project is to capture those moments and like see how I react, and like that's part of life, and to capture like accurate life. And so I don't know, it's like a double-edged sword. Every situation that I wouldn't want to live stream in also fits into the project as something that I would want live streamed as part of it. They would sing into you with their nasty breath. I'm sure celebrities have great breath. OMG, you're a Leo, awesome. Taylor, guess what my sign is? How long do you stay as a mic? You said it for a week, right? A week. Oh, or longer. I guess I should have considered that question more. I would probably just do it for a week, and then I go back. I think being a human is a pretty good thing to be. Toby, hard to make a guess just based off a username, but you're a Virgo. What sports did you play in high school? I did soccer, track, kicked for the football team, lacrosse, a little bit of cross country, mountain biking, and I was sort of on like I don't know if you would call it like a ski team, but we did like skiing bi-weekly. Mike, are you sure no questions are off limits? Yeah, any question whatsoever, go for it. Toby, was I right? What's up, buddy? The Entertainer, how's it going? Scorpio here. Yeah, hit me with your craziest questions. I'm ready to answer anything. Nothing is off limits. Leg sports. It shows so true. Yeah, my that's why I'm like I never work out my legs, which is nice, I guess, but like I have like a severe deficiency in like upper body muscle. So that's why like I only do upper body things. I don't do a lot of it, but I do want to like make my body like the same proportions at some point. Let's see here. I can get really into psych. Yeah, go for it, Toby. Would you rather be able to fly, but with a downside, or be able to turn into a table at will? You gotta tell me. You gotta tell me what the downside is, rookie, so I can make a decision. Legs is the worst. Yeah, so I feel fortunate not to have to work out my legs because people complain about like leg, and I'm also glad that I'm not like that's not the other way around, because I would rather have like stronger legs than an upper body than like a stronger upper body and weaker legs, because I feel like it's less functional, even though you probably look better. What kind of music do you like? I like rock, kind of like new age things, and rap generally is what I listen to. Rap is probably my favorite genre. Mike, have you ever been suicidal during that point of not knowing or having direction? Suicidal is like, I guess it depends on how you define suicidal. Like, I think of suicide as like a pretty rational option in like your basket of options. You know what I mean? Like every day you wake up and you have so many choices, and you use like logic and instinct and stuff to get through your day and make the decisions out of your choices. And I think that you always have the option to like quit the game. You know what I mean? It's always fair game. Like, you are in control of your life, and you were given this life, and um, if you get real deep into philosophy and stuff, then like it's a lot more complicated. But like in layman's terms, it's your life. You can decide what to do with it. And so, I think that I've definitely like, of course, I've weighed that as an option compared to other things, but I've determined that like I wouldn't want to do that at this point in my life. I think like I'd rather be alive. Um, because I think that that I've definitely like, of course I've weighed that as an option compared to other things, but I've determined that like I wouldn't want to do that at this point in my life. I think like I'd rather be alive. Um, because I think that that I've definitely like, of course I've weighed that as an option compared to other things, but I'd rather be alive. being a table has no advantages. Downside is you blow up with air and that's a terrible deal. I would probably be a table, honestly. Just I don't know. At what point in your life did you have it as one of your top two choices? I would say August of 2018. It's probably one of my top two choices. What are the months after that? September. Yeah. Basically, I would say in a lot of ways, like this project has given like a lot of meaning to my life that it didn't otherwise have. Geez, Toby's going all in. If you did have the flight downside, how would you use it? I would take part in the Macy's Day Parade. Is that what it's called? The thing where they have a bunch of floats. Speaking of floats, there's a big helium shortage going on right now. And so I don't know if they're doing floats anymore. Or if they might put like an end to those type of things. Because the world is running low on helium. I know I'm really getting into it, but this live stream is about knowing Mike. Yeah, I don't think you should apologize at all. I think that some people are like timid and or not in a bad way, timid, but like they don't want to address those questions or they don't want to think about it or like talk about it. But I really am like, you're welcome to ask absolutely anything. I'm happy to talk about anything. I think I've thought about my life to the point where I'm not uncomfortable with anything that I've decided or I think about or I believe, etc. And so I'm happy to have the conversations. You seem really different from your parents in terms of personality. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, you can see the parts of me that my parents raised, but like keep in mind, I left. Like I went to a boarding school in like freshman year of high school, and I had plenty of like alone time before then, but like I started becoming like independent in thought and like forming my own like version of how the world works at a really young age, and so I diverted earlier and I had more time to think of what it all means, etc. and stuff. So yeah, I think I'm pretty different from my parents. Probably closer, more similar to my mom in certain ways, and then my dad in other ways. But generally, I'd say probably closer to my mom in some way. Like, give some scenarios, maybe free volleyball for you friends at a party. Yeah, an insane party trick would probably be the coolest. Like, anytime, so we're all hanging out in a room and we're bored, I would inflate and I would be like, guys, look. What made you to a point where you contemplated suicide? I've been depressed before, but never thought about that. That's a good question. One of the biggest things was like, I just like couldn't think of anything that like I wanted to do with my life. Like I always try and think in advance. You know what I mean? I think of if I do this, it'll go here, and I try and like predict things, which I think is a pretty normal human thing to do. And so I was looking at all the avenues, like all the routes and paths I could go down in my life, and I was like, I don't like logically thinking about where these will go. I don't want to do any of these. Like I hate all these things. Like this doesn't appeal to me. I don't really like the people that I'm interacting with particularly right now, and like I don't like the place where I am. And it's like okay, like you know what I mean. And it's not so much a matter of like my life is so bad and I'm like angry that I'm like gonna kill myself. It's like okay, there I have like 5 roads laid out before me, and one of them is like suicide, and it's like okay, this is you're just comparing all the options, and and then and then I found something better, and I was like, okay, this is um, something that I want to do more than not be alive. Mike, I appreciate your honesty. Will help others. Will help you. Was it awkward when your mom came home with new boobs? Did she ask the family before she did it? Yeah, me too. I'd say I became completely different from my parents in like seventh grade. What led to that happening, Taylor? Was there any sort of event or how big could you get? How big could you get, and how would you get back to normal size? Um, so I imagine you could get to like your height would be your diameter, and that's how wide you could be. So you'd be like a ball the size of your height. You know what I mean? Um, and I think you get back by probably uh, flatulence. It's the only way. You inhale to inflate, and then you fart out all the air, and it's like a cleanse for your lungs somehow. Or maybe yeah, you just breathe it out. You just have really really big lungs that are made of rubber, and the rest of your body is made of rubber. I for one am glad you chose option two. I have a good feeling about you, Mike. It's only fair you ask me a tough question. All right, well I'll send the same thing your way, Toby. Um, have you ever considered not being alive as a course of action in your life? And um, if so, what made you think that? Me going to an all girls prep school, well, I think it really shaped my. Okay, so did you go? Was that like middle school and high school on one, or is seventh grade the year that you went there, Taylor? That'd be a humiliating power, though. I think I think in general, you'd probably just be so unique that you would get used to the humiliation factor of that power. Well, all someone has to do is cover your mouth with tape right now, and you could suffocate. I've never considered suicide. I don't see it as an option. Taking care of many suicidal patients. Have had friends who have committed suicide. And honestly, I don't understand it. That's cool. Yeah, I think that that's like a good perspective to have. If you sort of like, if your worldview is one that doesn't have that as in like an option on the table, if you see it as like morally wrong or um, just like not something that you can see yourself ever doing, then I think that's probably a good thing. Make your life easier, because then it's like you don't have a back route. You have to address your problems, right? You could still breathe through your nose. I think if you could still breathe through your nose, then you'd also be allowed to exhale your giant balloon through your nose. I started in seventh grade and graduated high school there. It's a long time to be. What was your class size, Taylor? I thought this was going to be a fun stream. Glad to get to know you. Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate that, Chris. Do you standardly look away from someone when you talk about tough subjects? I think I look away when I'm thinking of what to say, uh, just because I feel like it's awkward to make eye contact while you're like thinking. Um, but I think I don't know. Maybe I do. I haven't noticed. Have you noticed in this Q&A specifically that I've done that. Do you once rationalize that life was a trick and we are supposed to avoid this crappy world by killing yourselves, and you win by doing it sooner? Like, the thing is, you can rational like that. It totally is something that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, KBM, that's not like a crazy idea. That's as easy to rationalize as like so many other things. So it's a miracle that more people don't come to that conclusion than just win the game real quick. I think it was around maybe like 80 to 100 people. Nice. Yes, I have. Interesting. What other scenarios? Sorry, I'm just giving these during much more serious conversation. No, I need to think. This is you could be a lifesaver, like if you were on a boat with someone, or if you're a lifeguard. All of these situations, you dive in, and you grab the person, then you inflate. You know what I mean? And then you're a hero. You just saved a life. I rarely get depressed. I just get really angry. Why do you think that is, Taylor? Are you a philosophy major? I'm not. I did take one philosophy class at Boise State University, and it was an awesome class. And I like philosophy, and like I've read a few, not a lot, philosophy books. Because I'm an Aries. I think serious questions and serious answers remove our masks. You seem like you would be. Oh. Yeah, no, I think that I definitely like the idea of thinking about things and like fundamentally trying to understand like what is the purpose of any given like action or thing. I love philosophy. Yeah, it's tight. That's definitely one of like the coolest. I think if there's one subject that kids should be studying in like any higher learning institution, it's probably philosophy, because like that's teaching you like how to think about other things, whereas like some really specified classes and stuff that most people don't need, I think are more waste of time. Okay, what book are you currently reading? It's like a Nietzsche compendium, which surprise, surprise, right? But no, I really like it, actually. Like more casual uses for it. More casual. You could inflate yourself on an airplane when you sit down, and make yourself look really large until everyone's been seated, and then you'd probably be more likely to get a middle seat to yourself. You'd win a lot of talent shows, for sure. America's Got Talent. You could probably get that one. That's a bunch of money right away. You'd be you could be a really good like aerial photographer, because you'd basically be like it'd be like having a jetpack or being like a helicopter. More casual. I will move to shallower questions for this group. Toilet paper over or under? Over or under? I go from behind. Is that what you mean? Toby, over or under? But would you actually want that power? Would you let your friends use you? I mean, I think if you had to choose between having the power and not, like having the option to inflate at any time and fly, or not, then Yeah, it's a tough choice, I guess. But you're not losing a lot if you choose to have the power, because you could just have it dormant for a long time. Um, Behind, you got to go from behind, definitely. Does it come over the top or fall from the bottom? Oh, I think it depends on if I accidentally put it on. I think if I'm putting it on purpose, I put it so that it falls from the top. Um, you know what I mean? Like, it's here, and I'm pulling it off this way. But I sometimes will just accidentally put it on the other way. Well, all right, I gotta go eat. Taylor, yeah, thanks for coming by, Taylor. I enjoyed talking to you. Thank goodness we can be friends. Do you guys have any thoughts on this balloon power? Would you allow your friends to do anything to you? I mean, probably. It's like, if you're the guy who's like 7 feet tall, then you're not gonna ignore the fact that you're 7 feet tall. You know, your friends will be like, "Yo, like, grab that thing up high or whatever." And I think it'd be the same if you were a giant flying inflatable ball. You have to come to terms with your superpower. And do you sit to pee so you can leave the seat down all the time? Wow. No. I The only times in my life I've ever sat down to pee have been where I tried to go poop but was unsuccessful, and so I could only go pee. Do you, KBM, sit down to pee? I've heard real men sit down to pee. I have a very strong bladder. I flex my bladder, and I can empty the whole thing in 5 seconds flat. That's not true. Sorry if I'm gonna. No, you're not at all. I am probably gonna switch off the Q&A here pretty soon and continue on with the progress of the night. Not to kill things just as it's getting started, but didn't get a ton of sleep last night and trying to just get some stuff done and then crash early tonight. If you had twins, one of them needed a kidney from you, and one of them needed a kidney from you, how would you decide? Like, if I had... What do you mean? If I had twins and only one of them needed a... Oh, both needed. Okay, yeah. I think there are, like, more... There are other kidney donors, right? Like, you can find matches elsewhere. Maybe the mom would be a match as well. So, like, if we're at a party concert, how would you use it then? Oh God, that's probably the best example yet, Grookey. I would fly. You know how they do the beach balls and they push them around? Like, that would be me, and I would get the best view of the concert. I would be in a huge hit with the people. That's probably the best option yet. Let them both just stay on dialysis. Very wise, K-Bam. To teach them a lesson, right? again, Mike, I appreciate your candor. Of course, yeah. I really am open to talk about anything. Never feel that you have to hold back. But would you let them do that to you? And oh yeah, for sure. Dude, that'd be sweet. It would be a blast. Think about like, first of all, you could go to if you're at a music festival. I don't know if you guys have ever been, if you've been Grookey, but um, it's really crowded and pretty hard and terrible if you want to get up to the front row. It's a terrible experience. It's like fighting people almost, and it's so cramped in. But you wouldn't even have to do that at all. You would just become a balloon, and you'd be like, "Yeah, send me up front." And people would just be bouncing you around, and they'd get you up front, and then you could just unballoon right up front, and you'd be front row. If once you were done flying around, but you'd probably be more fun to fly around than it would be to be standing up there. They can keep each other company. That's very thoughtful, K-Man, because you know, dialysis isn't your liver. That's what dialysis is for. Oh nope, that was wrong. So I'll do a couple more questions, and then if you need help picking and getting a car, let me know. Love car shopping. Okay, sounds good, Toby. So you wouldn't use it at a party. Um, you could do a keg stand by yourself. Uh, you could just be floating, and then like do the keg stand, and that would be impressive. I'm sure I'd do that. Or uh, say you were at a party underage and the police showed up, you could float up and escape easily. That would be awesome. You could float home afterwards instead of, drunk driving. If you could give us all one piece of advice from something you have learned from this, what would it be? Um, that this is like, in a lot of ways, like a really terrible experience. Watching yourself back all the time is a really terrible experience a lot of the time, especially if you're drinking, but even like normally too, just a lot of the things that you as a person, like every one of you, do every day and say every day, um, would probably make you uh, just kind of like, just like not want to do that again if you watched it back happening. And so I guess my advice would be uh, like I don't think humans are meant for doing this type of thing. I don't. This is kind of a half-baked thought, but my piece of advice would be don't live stream your entire life and then watch it back, because you will question everything that you do and how you act, and it will really make you think about um, everything in your life. Um, I don't know if it was a good piece of advice, even slightly. What if it took time to get back to normal size, like relative to, oh my, blimp size? Okay, but I thought the restrictions were if you could get blimp size, that's like a whole other ballpark. But if you, I think that you would only go regret. Yeah, I don't know. It's not even that. It's like it's weird. It's just really weird, and I think fundamentally unnatural as far as like you know human beings, creatures, uh, the experience of like watching yourself and everything that you do as a person. That's makes you like really self-critical, and like there's almost like a constant air of like anxiety that's not there normally, even if it's like subdued a lot of the time, it still exists. Like uh, I think I know what you mean. Hindsight is 2020. Don't look back, only forward. I don't know if that would be. I don't think that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if I'm actually trying to say anything, but that's like one of the. I mean, just trying to think of like a thing that I learned from doing the live stream project so far. Like a majority of it is in the self reflection that it provides, rather than like being on camera all the time, or like the uh, interaction. Yeah, I don't know if I have any good advice yet from it, but I will say at the end of the project, I'm sure I'll be able to offer at least a bit better advice. Again, thank you for the opportunity and the candor. Have a great evening. Thank you, Toby. And thank you, everyone else who stopped by. Grookey, appreciate you hanging around. Entertainer, glad you dropped through. K-Bam, very, very kind words, and I look forward to seeing your kids in dialysis at some point. I think else is around. Yep. Yeah, ask it again at the end of the year. I'll do one final Q&A on December 31st. All right, and I'm going to cut the stream